I'm Justin Waffle, Director of Instruction at Justin Waffle Golf here at Masonboro Country Club in Wilmington, North Carolina. This is segment 2 of 3 segments on the swing plane. The swing plane is one of the most important parts of the golf swing. Having an on-plane swing will help you hit straighter, more consistent shots. Now the swing plane is created here at the address position. What we want to see is that the club shaft and your spine angle make a 90-degree angle. As you can see, with both players, they create that 90-degree angle. Also, if you take a look at it here, the perfect swing plane, the club shaft should be pointed right at the belt buckle and exit out through the lower part of the back. Now, the swing plane is a combination of both hinge and rotation. If either one dominates, either too much shoulder rotation or too much hinge, we'll have an off-plane swing. If we have too much rotation, we will typically see the club work underplane. Underplane is highlighted by this red X, anything underneath the swing plane line. Over the swing plane would be anywhere above the swing plane, somewhere out by this yellow X. Now ideally what we would like to see, again, is the club move just above the swing plane line and then come back down on the swing plane line on the way returning back to the golf hole. So let's take a look at these two players and how they keep the club moving on plane. Now as they move the club back, you'll see a blended motion, like I said, of shoulder rotation and hinge. For the most part, at this first quarter of the swing here, as we see it go back, you're going to see a lot of rotation, shoulder rotation. We want the shoulders and chest bringing the club and arms back, which will help to keep the body connected. Again, you look at it here, the hands are right in front of the chest for both players, and so see a little bit of a slight difference between Stuart Appleby. As you can see, the club is in line with his hands, where Tiger has it just a little bit out in front. Either one's going to be perfect in creating a solid swing here. But the key thing here is just making sure that the shoulders bring the club back and it stays in front of the chest. Now, the second part of this is now we start to see a hinge. We start to see the wrists start to hinge, and then the other thing is that three-quarter position, what we'll see is the right elbow begins to hinge to bring the club moving, to force the club to move more vertical. If we look at a three-quarter position, what we'll start to see is that the club shaft is just below the right shoulder with both players, and now the club is moving more vertical. Not enough hinge will keep the club too flat. Too much hinge will get the club too steep. If we're going to err on one side or the other, I would say that I'd like to err slightly more steep of a swing, getting a little bit more hinged. Now we go to the top. A perfect top position will have the left arm on about the same parallel plane as the swing plane line. So if we look at this and we highlight this again, we'll highlight it with the green line here, you'll see that that left arm is parallel, or we'll highlight it with a yellow line, is parallel to the swing plane line. Again, that one is another position to take a look at to see if you have an on-plane swing. So again, the swing that for the backswing, to keep the club moving on plane is a blended motion of shoulder rotation and hinge both in the wrist and the right elbow. As we both do that, that'll keep the club moving on plane and set you up for a perfect downswing and help you keep that club moving on plane from there. So I hope this helps you work on your swing and keep it on plane moving back.